Politics. Senator Bernie Sanders surging after his big win in Nevada over the weekend and looking to capitalize on a splintering field of moderates heading into South Carolina and, of course, Super Tuesday.
Joining us now to discuss, Angela Rye, former executive director and general counsel for the Congressional Black Caucus, and Melanie Zanona. She's congressional reporter for Politico. Angela, great to have you both on. You've covered a couple of campaigns. There is a conventional wisdom here that Bernie Sanders is a weak candidate against Trump. He's too far left. But you look at the numbers. Let's look just at swing states, the three big states that really matter in turning this election: Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Sanders actually above Trump in 2 out of the 3 there. I mean, is there an argument to be made? I suppose one, are the worries about Sanders overblown? But even, could you make an argument that in some respects he's uniquely positioned to stand up to Trump, given the strength of his base support?
Sure, there are a number of arguments that can be made here. And the first argument I would make, Jim, is that it is still very early. The South Carolina debate hasn't happened, and it certainly means that the South Carolina primary has yet to occur. So this isn't an argument about the strength of Bernie Sanders' candidacy any more than it is about the fact that there is a Democratic primary going on, and we have to allow the time for those results to come in. So Bernie Sanders has had a strong showing in Iowa, in New Hampshire, and in Nevada. We've had 2 caucuses and 1 primary. So there's a whole lot of time left and a whole lot of voters who look a lot more like me that have to have their say.
Yeah.
Fair.
Let them vote. Let them vote.
There you go. Fair. How dare the media get ahead of things? Fair enough, Angela. When you talk about...
That's not what I'm saying.
No, I know you're not. But Melanie, when you talk about who is going to be the kingmaker here, I mean, I think it's really telling that Jim Clyburn has not said who he's supporting and that he's going to wait until Wednesday morning. And he said Biden needs a strong debate performance to do well and to get his endorsement. How big is that going to be in terms of who takes the state?
It's going to be a huge boost for whoever Clyburn does endorse. And in fact, my colleagues at Politico are reporting that he does plan to endorse Biden. It's not just for practical reasons, but also personal reasons. They're long friends. It's no secret that he has affinity for Biden. He's been at a number of his campaign stops along the way over the last few months. But it might be a little bit too late for Biden. We're seeing that Sanders is already eating into his firewall of support. There was a new Wall Street Journal poll that just came out last week, actually, that showed that Biden and Sanders had the same level of support among black voters. So there's a chance that Sanders could really overtake him, even though Clyburn is a kingmaker in the state and could have a big boost heading into the Saturday primary.
Angela, there's this emerging...
If I could just really quickly...
Sure.
Please.
Sorry, Jim, really quick, just on this point. I just want to say that Majority Whip Jim Clyburn has a lot of influence, not just in South Carolina, but also throughout this country. So just giving credence to the title that he bears in the United States House of Representatives, he hasn't just earned that from his colleagues in the Democratic caucus, but he's also earned a vast amount of support and respect from black folks all over this country. The reason why you're seeing a bunch of support for Sanders, for Biden, for Warren and others is because the black vote is not that anymore. It is black votes. It's not monolithic. And so you have to speak to the issues of the varying bases, demographics, ages, and issues of concern to black voters.
No question. I mean, listen, to your point, and maybe you have thoughts on this, Melanie, we tend to think voters, oversimplify in these kinds of silos here. I mean, there's this other emerging narrative here that the moderates among Democratic voters, are split among Buttigieg, Biden, Klobuchar, and Bloomberg, particularly as you head towards Super Tuesday. I mean, is there evidence of that, right, that they want to coalesce around a single moderate alternative to a Bernie Sanders?
Yeah, of course. Voters are really fretting over this right now about who do they want as the alternative, but it's really muddled right now. I would, in fact, argue that it's even more muddled after Nevada, where you had Biden coming in second place. The problem is the longer that it stays fragmented and crowded, the more likely it is that Sanders will be the nominee. I think there's going to be intense pressure as we head towards Super Tuesday for some of these moderates to drop out of the race. But as of right now, there are no signs that any of them plan to do that. In fact, it's sort of turned into a game of no, you drop out first, because it is a really fluid race. There have been some surprises. And so as long as these candidates can envision even a very tiny, narrow path to a victory, they say, why should I be the one to get out first?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Hey, Angela, what did you make of Senator Sanders' tweet on Friday night? Let's pull it up. Quote, "I've got news for the Republican establishment. I've got news for the Democratic establishment. They can't stop us.
Well, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I think that Bernie Sanders and his supporters firmly believe that he has the heart of the people. I think as evidenced by, again, the 3 contests that we've seen so far, he has a strong basis for believing that. There are some more contests coming up, and of course we still have Super Tuesday, so we will see if the power of the people and the power of their votes can help him to support that tweet. I think the other thing that is important to remember is this is Bernie Sanders showing his independent card, right? Bernie Sanders is an independent, just like Mike Bloomberg, who really leans Republican, running in a Democratic primary. And so what I think they're showing is the fact that the Democratic Party is fractured. It, too, is not monolithic. That's the word of the day, apparently.
There you go.
And what you're seeing is that people have to decide where they want to throw their support behind because of the issues and the policies that folks are touting and pushing forth. And that is what time will tell us in this Democratic primary.
Yep.
Yeah, well, it's going to be exciting to watch tomorrow night. And also, we'll see what happens in terms of the big endorsement.
Listen, a lot of predictions in this race, they last about 2 weeks, right? I mean,
or 2 seconds.
Every front runner had a shelf life of about 2 weeks.
Or 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you guys off there. Angela Rye, Melanie Zanona, thanks so much. Ahead